and welcome back to my podcast.
I'm Caroline Fellmeyer.
Today, I have a special guest. Drum roll, please. Ava! Ava is my roommate, and she is a kinesiology major. And in this episode, we will be conducting an interview. Ava will ask me questions about occupational therapy. Before we get into the questions, I would just like to reflect on the semester. I have had such an amazing time in my first semester at occupational therapy school. This class, which is Foundations of Occupational Therapy, is so interesting to me because it's all the background and beginnings of the career, which is something that I feel like may be overlooked by a lot of people and also unknown. I like that I have all this background knowledge in my head because it helps me by knowing the motivation of why the career was started in the first place. Everything is just so fascinating to me, and all the projects we have done really helped me learn and be able to apply theory to real life. I would just like to also say thank you to my teacher this semester, Jenny. She was an amazing teacher, and I am so happy that she was my first impressions of the staff at the University of Scranton.
Hey Caroline, thank you so much for having me on your podcast today. I'm so excited to learn what occupational therapy is. My first question is, in your first episode, you mentioned you didn't know much about occupational therapy. After your first semester, how has this changed?
So in the beginning, I just knew occupational therapists helped people do their daily occupations. Now I know that occupational therapists can help anyone who needs it, and we strive to help individuals with goals that are meaningful to them. Occupational therapy is a client-based practice in which clients gain the care they need based on what is meaningful to them.
Has there been any specific project or activity that's helped you realize the importance of client-centered practice?
I would definitely have to say the Ethical Dilemma Project. My scenario was given by Scott and Reitz in 2017, and in this scenario, the client, Leo, was not able to be a part of his IEP meeting, and therefore unable to input his personal goals and opinions. It is important to hear the input from the client so the care can focus on what is truly meaningful to them, which will also lead to an upkeep of client motivation.
So, I know that you knew about OT because your niece needed it, but I was just wondering if you picked this because of the emotional connection, or if there were any other reasons.
Well, yes. She was the reason I looked into this career more, but I also have a very strong urge to help people. I have always wanted to work in healthcare and with children, but nothing really stood out to me until I heard of occupational therapy. I like the neurological and psychological parts to this career, and being able to watch your work progress a child's health in a positive direction is something that is so satisfying and I would love to do. And also the fact that the treatment is entertaining for them, but has underlying things that really help them, even if it's not noticeable, is such a cool factor. Now, Ava, after listening to my podcast and being a part of this episode, have you learned something new?
Actually, I have. After listening to your past podcasts, I've learned that occupational therapy is needed everywhere and with all different kinds of people. I also learned the importance of client-centered practice within this profession. Also, I really enjoyed listening to your past podcasts, especially being a kinesiology major. Because physical therapy is a possible career path for me, it was interesting to hear the similarities within OT, specifically regarding the client-based practices.
Very insightful. Well, that's all I have for you today, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to the podcast this semester. And I hope you all learned something new along with me. I'll talk to you soon.